Welcome back to Wicked Wands Tarot. My name is Carmen. Today we've got a reading for you about people viewing you as somebody that has been able to establish something after things were pretty difficult. So rebuilding or finding a new path, having some sort of financial security that may have been kind of difficult in the past. People are seeing that you are not one to stay in a stuck situation, not one to just kind of like accept or settle. So with the Magician in the Mirror, this is about somebody who is able to leverage their intellect as well as their intuition to take action and make things a reality. Also have some sense of like healing capabilities, but it's really about leveraging all of the information and making the best of what you have in front of you, right? Hello, Rachel. Hello, Key Controller. Hello, Nat Nat. Hello, Famous Seamus. How's it going? All right, let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. You can find it in the description box along with more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. I think we will start with, we're going to go with the Masonic Tarot. Just a little heads up that with the Masonic Tarot, we do have mallets for the earth signs instead of pentacles. And gold is associated with fire. So, like wands. All right, what do we have? Four of Swords, Nine of Pentacles or Nine of Mallets, and Justice in the reverse. So this is someone who could have been in jail. This is someone who could have been dealing with a major health situation that was making things difficult as far as working. But I feel like this Nine of Mallets or Nine of Pentacles is indicating someone who has found some foundation or built a foundation after a major setback financially or a major setback for health or freedom. Knave or Page of Mallets or Page of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Knight of Mallets. Yeah, so you go from people seeing you with things not really being in a good situation. Maybe they felt like you were just, trying for a very long time to find work or frustrated with your living situation. But there are people who see how the building is being constructed behind this person. And this one also has a wall behind it. It's like you were able to switch something, pursue a different career, go back to school, find a program that assists. There's this like tenacity that people have seen in you. Yes, there were challenges that I was facing, but I was looking for whatever I could do to move forward and have that progress, right? Good morning. How's it going, Lemonade? Oh, did I miss a question? Hello, Eric. How are you doing? Hello. Is it Kashan? I suppose that's your decision. Hello, Carlton. How are you doing? What else do we have? The Queen of Gold, which would be like the Queen of Fire or the Queen of Wands. Which makes sense, right? Because we had, whoever you are seen as this magician, and you do have a little fireball in one hand. Hopefully not drinking it, but you can if that's your thing. More so, this is talking about being able to create, right? Or to make change, manifest. And then we have the Ace of Gold or the Ace of Wands, which makes a lot of sense. So there's this passion or this motivation that has returned. Whoever this is, Most likely this is resonating for people about themselves, but this could also be about like a partner of yours or a family member of yours. What once felt like, oh, I don't have anywhere to branch out to, I can't move, this isn't working for me. Now we have someone who's feeling more in control of their situation and more capable of making the changes that they needed to. Going well. How about you? Hello, is it Uno? I'm probably saying that wrong. Sorry. Hello, Joseph. How are you doing? We've got the Three of Gold, which would be like the Three of Wands. Someone who's taking action. Someone who had like a strategy in place because of this lack of pentacles, the lack of financial security. Could have been a lack of job, right? For some of you, this could be someone that was in, you know, jail, like I said. But this hasn't stopped this individual from laying the groundwork for that next chapter, right? If anything, it's acted as motivation. I don't want to do that again, or I don't want to go through that again. Let's see what we can do to improve, you know, the status of the bank account. And it's working. We have, with the Six of Gold, a sense of things getting more balanced out, or somebody who is making more money. And the King of Wands is a nice match to the Queen of Wands or the King of Gold and Queen of Gold, indicating that it's not just manifesting or trying to draw things in, it's also somebody who's taking action, which we also saw with the Three of Wands. So this feels like you are leveraging all of the magic that you have. This is why we had the Magician at the beginning, right? Somebody who knows how to draw opportunities to them, but is also making sure that they're doing the work to be prepared to take advantage of those opportunities. Hello, Joe. How are you doing? What else do we have? The Ten of Mallets or the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. The Star, and the Ace of Swords. There's some truth that has been discovered in this journey of, you know, frugality, being a little bit more conservative or being less of consumerist, right? Has taught this individual, our, I don't know, magician, shall we call them? This is important to me. This is not important to me. This is worth my time. This is not worth my time. Because this is someone who had to be very smart with their time, especially if you were working overtime or, you know, you had a side hustle or something. All right, this is the Marigold Tarot. What else do we have? Nine of Wands in the reverse, Eight of Rings or Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, it's like either there's a gap on the resume, or, you know, I wasn't able to work, or I had to, you know, pivot to a different type of career. There's something here where someone's like, this isn't really easy for me to explain what happened with this period of my life, but I do feel like I'm able to build something anyways. I'm not going to let that be like an excuse for me to just sit here and do nothing. Here's what I can do to build something for myself. Here's what I can do to make things easier for myself financially. What else do we have? Two of Wands, Five of Rings or Five of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Star. For some of you, this is like the path that you were always meant to be on. Maybe you felt like you needed to do this career, and then this kind of putters out or feels a little bit more challenging or less reliable. But when you do a side hustle or you go back to school, you have this opportunity to do something that you were always meant to be doing. For others of you, you are finally going to have the lifestyle that you are meant to be living. This is a very important change for you in terms of how you leverage the skills that you have and how you manage your time so that you don't have to feel like you're always rushing around or you don't have enough. It's really important to let go of the mentality of lack if you've been stuck in this kind of energy for a while. Meaning the way that you talk about yourself to yourself, or the way that you talk about how things could potentially go, whether or not you expect things to always be in the Five of Pentacles or kind of lacking, right? Much, I don't know. You could like delay it if you're too focused on things will always be this way, right? So the Six of Wands in the reverse is about feeling like at some point there was a failure, or there was some, mistake made, but not living in that and blaming yourself over and over again for this, but instead learning the lesson from it and then being able to reroute that energy. Four of Cups, King of Cups in the reverse, and the Page of Wands. I feel like there's going to be some good news. This is, you've done this work, you've done this, diligently, or you've gone to school, somebody's getting a certification, or, graduating. This is somebody who is realizing, instead of wasting my time just being frustrated or angry over what happened or how it wasn't fair, I have been, collecting everything I can or marching forward and not letting that stop me. So I feel like the universe is about to reward you for that dedication or that willingness to keep it moving. Queen of Wands and Justice. Yeah, you're manifesting in abundance, something that is going to make your financial situation easier. All right, let's get a few from the Situations deck. What else do we have? Yep, I kind of figured we would see this one. This is talking about whether or not there is this ongoing battle of, two steps forward, or one step forward, two steps back, or, I make a bunch, but I also have to spend a bunch. Now we have some shift happening, and it's important to let go of that feeling that you're never going to have what you need, or that you're not going to be able to pay the bills. Picture yourself having more cushion in the paycheck, right? Or in the bank account. Not needing to leverage, credit cards, that kind of thing. I do feel like there's going to be important information coming in, a really important conversation. Some dedication to your improvement is paying off. This could be talking about a promotion, talking about a raise, talking about a side hustle. For some of you, this is a thing that you enjoyed doing when you were younger and you haven't been able to do much of it. Side hustles, definitely a possibility for a lot of you. Others of you, it's, I tried to make this other career work, but what I'd really like to do is work with animals, or, work in a daycare. This is like, there's something here about I've already wanted to do something like this. This is a good opportunity for you to finally follow that. What do we have? Offer on the table. Some of you are getting a raise, some of you are getting a job offer, some of you are getting an investment in a company, or maybe even a stock that pays off. But I do think that it enables you to plan or like take action on the next step in your plan, where you wanted to have a different living situation, or you wanted to, pay off some debt, or perhaps get a new vehicle. There's things that are moving the direction they need to for you to feel like things are falling into place, right? I was just talking about maybe getting a new car. So there's going to be someone who shows up rather quickly. This could be someone you already know. This could be somebody that you don't know, but I do feel this is a precipitous conversation, or like it's going to set you up for either a better job or a better living situation. For some of you, this could also be a conversation regarding inheritance or some sort of windfall of money. But I do feel that you're going to be kind of surprised. There's going to be like a quick forward movement, or like a relief of your stresses. I didn't know if I was going to pay for that, or I didn't know if I was going to be able to afford that. But now that seems to be a much more like comfortable situation, or I'm not as worried about that now. Hello, Carrie. How are you doing? Hello, Steven. Thank you. This is the Tattoo Tarot. We have the 10 of Cups. And the Nine of Swords. It's something that I feel like many of you have already pictured, whether it's, you know, oh, I dream of having my own house someday, or oh, I dream of living alone, or oh, I dream of living with this person, you know, like a romantic interest or something. This is helping to draw in what it is that you want. So don't stop picturing yourself in that situation. That is actually a really good use of your thought process time, right? I challenge you to, you know, envision those things that you want to draw in. And I feel like a bigger house or a place with a yard or something with an office, whatever you're envisioning, I feel like you are actually drawing that closer to reality. But you got to make sure that you don't let the stresses or the anxiety of every day interrupt that daydreaming, right? I'm glad to hear it, Carrie. We've got Knight of Pentacles, Page of Wands in the reverse, and the Lovers in the reverse. Sorry, the Lovers in the upright. Huh, okay. Why do I feel like somebody has tried to stall this, like, abundance for you? I feel like you were supposed to get this abundance earlier. So for some of you, this could be like an inheritance that wasn't fully disclosed to you, or there was some issue and it got delayed in legal battles. For some of you, this could be business issues, money management problems that delayed a raise or a promotion, but then now they're like, okay, I think we can actually execute on this. For others of you, there's just somebody here who had wanted to see you in struggle bus mode. So you might have had some not very nice energy sent your way, or literally spell work done on you to make it so that you were challenged financially or like extra, right? Hello, I was. How are you doing? We've got the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, Six of Cups, Eight of Swords in the reverse. I'll tell you what, some of you were blocking your own abundance based on not forgiving someone. Others of you were blocked by a person who struggled to forgive you. But I do feel like your approach to difficult connections and people that have done you wrong has broken some sort of spell or has brought this abundance closer to you. With the Eight of Swords in the reverse, there is something here about how your perspective has changed and perhaps even empowered you to feel like you have the ability to draw in the things that you want instead of having a more negative mindset like, oh, I guess I just like have bad luck, or this is always going to be this way. You might have had some reason to change that perspective, or even, you know, just kind of felt like it was time to change how you viewed that. But there is a shift here in energy, and it's either because you've blocked somebody who wanted to make things difficult, or you changed yourself and you had previously been blocking yourself. Queen of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and the Hanged Man. So it's your perspective changing that does everything. Your mind is very powerful. How you see yourself, how you see the opportunities, how you relate to the actions that need to be done or the emotions that you're feeling. You have this new perspective, and even though you were in a, damn, we're in a tight spot. Even though you're in a tight spot, you're like, you know what? It's cool. I'm not gonna do what everybody thinks I'm gonna do and freak out, man. You know what? Maybe I can get out of this. Look, I'd be surprised if you do in that situation. But this is saying no matter how difficult it is, you're like, okay, I can figure this out. You know, it's a little bit challenging that my hair is tied to my ankles. But you're going to figure it out, okay? Don't you worry. You're like, I got an idea, Carmen. It's cool. So good for you. Instead of being limiting or restrictive or, you know, woe is me, nothing's going to work out, you come up with a plan. And it's all the difference in the world. Six of Swords, moving into calmer waters. Why? Because you are expecting things to get better and you are not afraid of taking action to change that situation, right? Look, there's two different kinds of people. There are people who go outside and they say, "Birds, cold. I can't do anything today." And then there's the people that are like, "Oh, I guess I need to wear a jacket and then I can do the stuff I need to do today." And you're like, you know what? Yeah, it's a little rough. There's a lot that I need to do. There's things that I would rather just like forget about or kind of be escapist about. But instead, I'm going to think about what I could draw towards me that would be a good opportunity. And I'm going to do the little things step by step that get me to a better situation. Have you ever like not expected to have to walk up a giant amount of stairs? Maybe the elevator stopped working. There's a Mitch Hedberg joke here for this. I'm not going to use it though. You just weren't prepared for it. Look, I went to Europe and we were not prepared for the amount of walking we're going to need to do. Us Americans are a little bit more lazy. We drive everywhere. Y'all have like bikes, much more commonly used, especially like Amsterdam. We were not prepared for how much we were going to have to walk around Germany. And I have one friend who was wearing like 3-inch heels. Not a good choice. This is somebody who's realizing, yeah, there's a lot of work and I probably don't get to have just like a quick little easy ride in a car. I might have to actually hoof it, but I'm going to do it. And so because of that determination, because you were like, it's okay, I'm not going to let it stop me. Whatever, this too shall pass. Because of that, instead of being disappointed in how things end, now you're going to see the fruits of your labor. You might even see some back pay. You know what I mean? You might even get some extra because you had to wait a little bit. But we have the Six of Wands. This is victory. You're going to feel like you achieved something that at one time felt not doable. Like, you know, a girl can dream. Yeah, that's going to happen. Maybe it actually will because of your dedication to it. All right, let's get a few from the Kipper. I would love to see unexpected income or sudden wealth for you. Let's see. Hello, how's it going? All right, what else do we have? We have message of concern, coffin, and great fortune. Okay, well, so first we go through the dark night of the soul, or we go through some difficult time. For some of you, this coffin is literally someone passing away. My condolences if that's true. For others of you, this is being laid off or feeling like you can no longer make a particular career work out the way that you thought it would. For others of you, this could be a divorce and you had to set up your whole life on your own and be responsible for all the bills on your own after you had split those for so long. But after going through that transitional period, now we have somebody who is about to get abundance and feel like things are easier than they expected they were. I hesitate to say easier because you are putting in some work, okay? It's not that things are just like handed to you on a silver platter. But I do feel like what you thought you couldn't perhaps achieve now is within your sights. And you're like, okay, I think I can do that. It says message of concern for number 14. And then we have child, number 18, house, 20, Expectation, 28. So it is very important of you to be on a regular frequency, envisioning yourself in the type of living situation and financial situation that you would like to be in. For some of you, this has been a dream since you were younger. For others of you, this is something you're really motivated to achieve because you want to have a good place for your family or for your child or children. But the more you see it as real and possible, the closer it gets to you. So it's really important to maintain that manifesting energy and that believing in it or expecting it to change and get better. Let's get a few from the Voyage of the Soul. You're welcome, I was. Yes, drive safely, Matt. All right, what else do we have? Joy, serotonin, rush, happiness, excitement, and euphoria. And indulge, laughter, pleasure, bliss, vacation, escape, and rebel. It might also be a really important use of your time to imagine yourself on some sort of vacation at some point. Maybe you've been working too much. Maybe you need a vacation. Maybe you just need to be able to put your feet up a little bit more or get a massage. We've got somebody here who feels like they have discretionary funds and discretionary time, and I feel like neither of those things have really been a thing for you recently. So picture yourself where you want to take a vacation. Picture yourself having that, spending money. Ooh, we got extraterrestrial, galactic, star races, light codes, ancient, and origins. Energy, life force, chakras, Reiki, intangible, subtle, and crystals. Something about you has changed. I'm just telling you, there are gonna be some people who look at you and they're like instantly aware that they cannot mess with you. So there could be people who judged you initially. There could be people who felt like you weren't gonna be able to figure this out. There could be people who expected you to, be just like your mom, be just like your dad, whatever it is. I do feel like you have come up against a lot of different challenges that have stalled other people out. But this shift, this latest shift for you and your perspective, it makes you a lot more powerful than you were before. And I'm not trying to make you arrogant, but you did come through as the man of the coin and the magician in the mirror, which basically means I feel like you kind of figure out some of the secrets. You figure out how to get the best of both worlds, but also be in touch with that intuition and that guidance that you need, as well as leveraging the more real world experience or analytical side of things. So don't be afraid of whatever this is. I do feel like you're going to get more frequent downloads or messages that enable you to start this new chapter and enable you to have a much more comfortable experience or more financial security. Oh, look at how good this looks. Yeah, a little fading. Yeah. Light after darkness, new life, dawn, unfold, rise. Why? Because you've been through the dark night of the soul. Maybe more than once. So you've been through this distressing situation, or you've had this lack of financial security, maybe even difficult grieving process or end of a relationship. But that loss and how you've handled it, the growth that you've experienced since that happened, is setting the stage for a very meaningful part of your life where you do have more comfort, more abundance, and I think a greater understanding of the gifts that you actually possess and what you are meant to be doing, how you could potentially have a little bit more financial security. It could be tied to things that you are meant to be doing that you didn't really prioritize. Maybe you're meant to be famous. Maybe you are meant to have your own business. Maybe you are meant to, have a famous pet. Maybe your dog becomes famous. You know, like I hear there are people that make a ton of money off of just posting pictures of the dog. What? Hello, Darnell. How's it going? All right, let's see. Would be a good one for this. We're gonna go with the gamer's ways. What else do we have? There are a few cards in here that talk about hitting it big with coins. So let's see if one of those come out. Safe room. You have come far and found your way to a safe room. It's cozy and monsters can't get inside. Take this time to recharge and express gratitude for how nice it is in here. A victory is likely imminent. So it's kind of like you reached a checkpoint, right? The thief. The thief isn't necessarily evil, but they do tend to work for self-serving reasons. Their niche skills can prove to be useful if you make a friend of one, but they can often cause conflict amongst party members. Some of you could be this thief, but reformed. Maybe you didn't play well in the sandbox with others before. Maybe you still don't. For others of you, you were dealing with a thief that wanted to delay that abundance that is meant to be yours. This could also be somebody who was trying to take what's yours. Abandoned save. Are you sure you want to delete save file? When we're young, we take for granted the XP gained from so many small battles. We flee from conflict and monotony alike, inevitably resulting in a level so low that it halts our ability to progress our story. Then we learn some growth requires starting over. That makes a ton of sense because we've had so many references to you building a new chapter, building a new living situation, or maybe even a new career. This is saying, yeah, sometimes you have to start over and it's worth it because you're able to take it in a different direction, or you're able to build it in a way that makes a little bit more sense for you, right? Kind of like if we're talking about real estate. You could fairly easily find most of what you're looking for in something that already exists, but you might also be able to just, do a custom home and get everything that you want. We got one of the coins cards, you guys. I told you. Check you out. Stability and belonging. Safety and comfort. You have won, looted, and earned more than you'll ever possibly need. You've built a solid foundation here. Another reference to foundation. Good game, bro. So you're going to reach a point where you feel like you may not have ever been able to before. You're like, okay, this is better than I thought. I didn't think I would get this promotion, or I didn't think I would own my own place, or I didn't think I would think, I could actually have a boat, whatever it is. So be able to stop in that moment and recognize what you were able to actually do, right? The fun fact, Lemonade, is that it was gifted to me by one of the viewers here. Shout out to Jess. She's awesome. So we have the Bard. And it's hers, by the way, like she designed it. The Bard is not a taker. They prefer to give. They are able to tap into some unique kind of magic. See, that's you. That lifts the spirits of those around them. Having a Bard in your party is good for morale. Requires a vibe stat of 69 or higher. So here's the thing. You might have been a bit of a drone before. You might have been working long hours. You might have been using, muscles more so than your brain power. You may not have been able to leverage some gift that is quite apparent. I feel like you have the gift of gab, or you know how to tell stories, or maybe you write excellent lyrics. You have this ability to change the energy of others around you if your energy is, like if your batteries are charged, right? So because you have this ability, it's almost like you speak two different languages, maybe you really do, and you are super necessary as the translator for people to understand this perspective change that you've gone through. You have the ability to lead other people in a better direction, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's nutrition, maybe it's gardening, maybe it's gym stuff, maybe it's spiritual, maybe it's education of some sort. You have the ability to lead people into a better existence because the way you reach people is very effective, whether that is through storytelling or lyrics, however it is. You touch people and you inspire them. Yes, you intimidate them as well because you have transformed things, but you can teach them how to transform things as well. You probably want to relax through this cutscene after defeating that powerful foe. The fight took a lot out of you, but the developers know there's still fight left in you. Let's test your reaction time. So I feel like you've gotten through the main event of this Dark Night of the Soul. You probably do feel pretty exhausted, but you also probably feel like you've been able to accomplish something. Kind of like after you, okay, so I painted the garage door, you know, like the big one for the cars. That exhausted me because it was also a hot day, well, a couple days. But it felt really good to finally cross that off my list. You have crossed something off your list. It feels great, but guess what? There's still just a little bit more to do. This could be forgiving someone, telling someone that you got some issues, ending a friendship, ending a relationship. There's something else here that comes up, and it's like, okay, I know what I need to do. It's not really easy, but I guess this is what I have to do. So make sure you stick the landing, you know? You've come so far, you don't want to mess up this last little test that might be coming your way. Hello, Tracy. How are you doing? Yes. All right. I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes. If you're able to hype the video, I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next reading. Toodles.